So in this video, we're using Google Sheets to make histograms. So you'll see at the bottom, we have 6 different sheets. We're going to use the first 2 as our examples, all right? On the left, we have our data. And then right here, I give you some instructions on the histogram, all right? So to make my histogram, I can highlight my data and I can drag down. But some of them are pretty long data charts. And so instead of highlighting it, I can just click the A and it highlights the entire column all the way down. Okay, so either way, that's a little faster if I just click the A though. And then I go to Insert, and then I'm going to come down here to Chart. Okay, now when I click Insert and I hit Chart, sometimes it'll bring up a histogram like it did. Sometimes it won't. But this little drop-down list here is what allows me to pick all the different kinds of charts that I want. Well, that's the histogram right there. By the way, notice it'll do box and whiskers, but right there, we want histogram chart. Okay, so if it gives you something different, sometimes it gives you a line chart. Sometimes it might give you, I don't know, something weird. So just scroll to the bottom, right there, histogram, okay? Now, after you do that, you're just following our instructions. So it says, title the histogram, gas prices. Well, notice it already did it. It automatically made the title gas prices, and that's because if I make the very first sale the title, then it names it for me. If I wanted to change the name, I could just double click right here, and then I could call it whatever I wanted to. So if I needed to change it, gas prices, I can change the title, okay? Now, next it says make the histogram bars green. So I'm going to click right here. We're going to click those little 3 dots. And if I click those, I see edit chart pops up. There it is. All right. So I want to change so 1, 2, see these are all my options. To change these, we're going to click on series. Yep, series. Fill color. It says change it to green. So I'm going to change it to green. We'll do a darker green. There we go. And then it says the background needs to be light yellow. Well, do the background. Let's see here. Where's the background at? Chart. There we go. Chart style lets me change the background. We're going to change it to kind of a light yellow. We'll go bright. There we go. No, this says light yellow. We'll do light yellow. There we go. There's a light yellow. Let's see here. So we did the background. It says make the title axis and grid lines brown. All right. So again, click on my thing. There dot edit. And so we're gonna go over here to customize. And so pretty much everywhere I see anything I can change the color, I'm going to change it to brown. Now, I don't actually see a brown option here, so I'm just going to go to that very bottom orange one. That very bottom burnt orange kind of looks a little brown. So go series, we'll go bottom orange. There we go. Legend, yep, bottom orange. Horizontal axis, bottom orange. Vertical axis, bottom orange. And same thing here, bottom orange. All right, and so there we go. So we made it the right color, we made it the right title. What I haven't changed is the buckets. All right, now when we were doing this by hand, we call these the bins. All right, basically it's how wide are my rectangles, okay? Well, it says right here to make them 0.5. Well, if you notice, they're going up by 0.5s already. So this one actually worked out. But to figure out how to make your bucket widths, you go to Customize, go to Histogram. You see it says bucket size, it says auto. I can pick different numbers. And change them. Now, obviously, we're going up by 1, so that doesn't help. But if I don't like these numbers, I can just type in whatever number I want. So it wanted 0.50, and so I'll just hit enter. And then there you go, they're 0.5s. It says I can make them show all the dividers so I can see exactly how many's in each one, or I can hide that, okay? All right, now for every single one of these, you're going to rename the sheet. So I'll right click on the sheet, rename it, and we're going to rename it whatever title you made your histogram. So this one is gas prices. When you rename your sheets, that shows me you did something on the sheet. So when I open up this, if I just see sheet 2, sheet 3, sheet 4, sheet 5, sheet 6, I'm going to give you a 0 because that shows me you didn't rename your sheets. Okay? So when I click on them, I should see them done, but I should also see all the sheets renamed. All right, sheet 2, we're going to do this one as our last example. This is population data for the United States by states, and you'll see we added District of Columbia and Puerto Rico as well. All right. So to do this, I don't want to highlight the states. I only want to highlight the data. So I'm going to click on B. All right, I'm not clicking on A and B. I'm only clicking on B. Insert chart. All right, there's me a histogram. All right, so notice that there was no title up here. So it says make the title U.S. population by state. So I actually need to double click on histogram and call it U.S. population by state. All right, it says make the histogram bars blue. Oh, there you go. The bars are blue already. Make the background white. The background's already white. And it says make the title, axis, and grid lines red. So we're going with red, white, and blue. All right, so to make everything else there, I need to say, okay, well, pretty much anything that's not a background, I need to change to red. So we'll change that one. That one. That one's already red. Fill colors. Oh, no, we got that one already. This one should be red. Red. And there we go. So everything's red. All right. So we took care of title. We took care of the colors. So now it says make the bucket or the bin width 2,500,000. All right. So to do that, we're going to click on histogram. We're going to change bucket size. Now, obviously, it's not clicking on one of these isn't going to help. See, if I click on one of those, it's way too small. So we need to make it 0.5 million. So 2500, 1, 2, 3 more zeros. Hit enter, and there we go. So now I can see the population by state. I see a lot of states here have populations less than 250 million, and we have a couple little outliers that have really big populations. All right, so there is my histogram. All right, now my histogram ended up being a pretty good spot. Remember, you can size these bigger or smaller, depending on how you want to. There's a lot of other things you can play with on the histograms as well. All right, so most importantly, right click, rename U.S. population. There we go. So there's 4 more. There's sheet 3. There's your instructions. Sheet 4. There's your instructions. Sheet 5. Here, I don't tell you what your data is. I tell you to make a guess at what you think those numbers are, and then to give it a title. And then I don't tell you what colors. I tell you to guess my favorite colors. All right. And then on 6, again, I tell you to guess what the number you think the numbers are and to give it a title. And then you can color it whatever your favorite colors are. But I do tell you what the bin width should be for each of those. Okay? All right. So make sure you finish all of those. And then after you finish, rename each one of those sheets to fit your histogram. And then after you do all that, you hit turn in.